Well, welcome to Talking About Speedway. Graeme Sinden and Con Migro with you. Welcome to another show, and what a big show we've got for you, Con. Plenty of things happening, even though we haven't had a meeting at the Perth Motorplex.
Yes, plenty of news and views. It's good to be with you once again, Graeme. And there's been a huge amount of Speedway conducted right around Australia and in our own state, for that matter. And we've got a lot of news, as you're saying. It's going to be a pretty exciting show.
Well, let's start out with this one. No bigger news, I suppose, at Tolmar Speedway. Our own Bunbury boy, Dayne Kingshott, in the Cricket Motorsport team, came up trumps.
Well, that's his third feature race in 4 shows in Australia. And to think that there was a time once that the Bunbury Toyota team were thinking of possibly bringing over another American to drive that car. That was a couple of years ago. And he's probably turned out to be the best of the lot of them. He's been absolutely outstanding. He's a former Australian speed car champion. He's an awesome athlete, and what a race car driver.
Oh, absolutely, Con. And the good thing for me is that not only did we have our own Bunbury boy come up trumps over there, he won the quick time, and Callum Williamson was all in the mix there as well. I think he timed third, but also we had 3 West Australian teams first, second and third.
Yes, I know there's no such a thing as sentiment in motor racing or business for that matter, but you have to have your heart go out to Callum Williamson. He was in a very prominent place once again, and for whatever reasons he had to go to the infield. So we'll probably no doubt find out what that is all about in the next couple of days. But nothing can take from Dayne Kingshott. He is once again king by name and king by nature.
Well, I had a good look at his tyres on that slide, Con, and they didn't look too healthy at the end of that race. I don't know how many more laps he could have done, to be honest, by looking at them.
No, it was a dry, slick track, and that's one of the problems with a pop-up track. But also, you can also have that same problem in a track that's there day in and day out. And again, on the eastern seaboard of Australia in recent weeks and months, for that matter, they've had a lot of sus weather. That big cyclone up in the Northern Territory was probably headed way down, and maybe, I don't know, but it's a very difficult thing to judge.
Yes, indeed. Well, Con, we've got some big news coming up here in Western Australia, perhaps no more so than our own West Australian Sprintcar Championship, I should say, and the JOHN Day Classic for speed cars. So how good will that be?
Well, I would say we're in for another lungbuster, but I'll tell you a little story that going on the current form, the current way the guys racing, Dayne Kingshott would be set to win the West Australian sprint car title. And in the speed cars, well, there's some very good, the numbers have been the best they've been for years, and Gavin and the team, or the speed car club's idea of putting some of the big events in early in the program has paid dividends, because the numbers have come out of the woodwork and we've got very healthy fields.
Well, that's December the 6th at the Perth Motorplex. We've got the JOHN Day Classic for speed cars. We've got the WA Sprintcar Championship. And also, Con, coming up on the same night at the Perth Motorplex will be late models back at the Motorplex. How good is that? Speed cars, sprint cars and late models all in the one program.
Yes, it's fantastic. And I still have a little report from Veronica McCann from the Motorplex. She tells us that Warren and Jamie Alford are heading off to America this coming weekend, and they're going to be there until December. They're also going to watch the event in the Big Dome indoor meeting for the late models. And Travis Mills from Warrnambool will be piloting the W52 speed car in the December 6th JOHN Day Classic. So Mills is coming across to Perth and racing the Redmond car. Now, that's the same car that we know that young Nash drove last year to considerable amount of success. So that's wonderful news. And thanks to Veronica, we've been plugging away for a long time. At least we've got the news at last.
Well, let's kick off, Con, with the WA Sprintcar Championship. The current champion, of course, J-Mac.
J-Mac, yes.
I've got Kerry Madsen on my mind at the present time, but J-Mac, of course, the current champion, and what a champion he's been. He's been in everything, and now, of course, with a new livery with the number 1 car, he got the Napa sponsorship, and of course that's a national sponsorship he's got, so he'll be required to appear at most of the speedway tracks around the country during the season.
I wonder if that'll flow out to international, because that was the sponsorship that Brad Sweet had, and yes, you know, he's announced his retirement from full-time driving, I'm just not too sure, but whether this might be the man that's going to take his place with that sponsorship. But look, James McFadden is a class act. We've seen him over the many, many years. We saw him when he was first sponsored by Scott Milling, the Kalgoorlie man, and he's progressed, and now with the Sheldon Brady team, he's just a magnificent race car driver. He's an elite athlete as well.
Now, sadly, we won't be seeing him at the state title or to defend his state title, but that's a decision that the Team Brady has made. They think they've got other more important and pressing engagements to appear at. It's a shame because he certainly is a showman and a great sprint car driver. Excuse me.
Yeah, he is, but thankfully for us, we've got another 35-odd sprint cars that of the same calibre just about as his car, and with Dayne Kingshott, Callum Williamson, those sorts of guys, and you've got Taylor Milling, the Daniel Hardings, the Chris Coyles of the world, Jason Kendrick's starting to come good, and our little friend from down Burnup Way, and Michael Keane. So I think we'll more than make up for the missing of the defending champion.
Our WA drivers are more than making up for it and capable of beating anyone around the country. Dayne Kingshott showed that, and in fact he beat McFadden home in the Tolmar event over the weekend. So don't underestimate our WA boys under any circumstances.
No, and I just think to talk about Dayne Kingshott, we've probably got the strongest sprint car divisions in its history in Western Australia, and to think that young Dayne now is completely dominating, to think that he has won the 4 events they've gone on to. He's won 3 of the A mains, and he's finished 4th in another. So it's not a bad sort of record, is it?
Oh dear. Great start of the season. And that's reflecting, Con, on the Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series points. Well, we haven't had a meeting since our last show. Dayne Kingshott, Callum Williamson out in front on 590 each, followed closely by Taylor Milling on 566 and Daniel Harding just 2 points adrift, 564. So we've got some cracking competitors over here.
Well, I think that Kingshott and Williamson will dominate the division for the rest of the season. And from number 3 to, say, 12, they'll be the ones that will be chasing for the spoils to finish in 3rd place. Although things can change, because you saw it over the weekend with the McLaren being disqualified in the Formula 1. It brings Verstappen into the race now, and with 2 heats to go. Yeah. Verstappen's got a good chance of winning the World Formula 1 title. Not that we're talking that, but just gives us example how things can change in a heartbeat.
True enough. And we talked about Dayne Kingshott, Callum Williamson leading the Maddington Toyota. They are also leading the Boy Upseller Sprint Car Driver of the Year. Let's just have a quick look and refresh on those points. Callum Williamson, 23, Dayne Kingshott, 19, and Daniel Harding on 5. And again, we offer our thanks to Assured Learning Australia, Boy Upsellers and King Chrome for that award.
Yep, a magnificent award, and that's going to be red hot. As into the new year, you'll find that'll become an even more hotly contested event.
Con, also on the card on December the 6th, the JOHN Day Speedcar Classic, do it for the general, a $5,000 event to win and $14,000 total prize pool. How good is that for speed cars?
Yes, well, speed cars, as I said to you earlier, their numbers have been bright, and you and I were probably saying why were the events, or the number 1 events being on so early in the program, but Gavin's proved he's got an absolute winner there, because the numbers are out there. Speed cars have probably never been stronger for the last 10 years. And I think that Travis Mills is heading across the desert, as they say, to have a crack at this. So it's going to be some fabulous speedway, and going to be a very exciting time in a fortnight. And all we want now is a hot Saturday so that you and I don't freeze.
Come on, Con, you're getting soft in all that.
I've got to admit that.
Well, let's just go back now and have a look at what we've been talking about. Here's the current Speed Car Classic champion, Nicholas Rowe, $5,000 winner from last season. Boy, what a race he put in as well.
Yes, he's a class act, as we know, and I think the only problem that he might beat him at the moment, his machinery has been a little bit unreliable this year, and I'm hoping they can turn the corner on that, because you can't afford not to have your car 1,000,000% in full working order if you're going to win such an event.
Yeah. I mean, over the last season, he had quite a good season, didn't he? I mean, yes. even when the Australian Championship was held here, I think he was 4th in that event and the first West Australian in the field to be on the track at Night's End. He won one of the Neville Lance Twin 14 features, he won the John Day Classic last season, so he had a pretty good year.
Yes, and the last time he was at the Motorplex, he was in second place until the last 5 laps and the car overheated, and he thought discretion was the better part of valour. Because, you know, these Toyota engines, I was talking to Neville Lance during the week, and he was saying that a Toyota speed car engine now is nearly the same cost as a 410 cubic inch sprint car engine. So he said, you're not getting any change of it. And he said, you can't believe it's such a small motor, but how expensive they are.
Well, they're highly engineered, and when they're on song, boy, do they churn out some horsepower and speed in the speed cars. They're a great motor, as are a lot of the motors these days, the GRDs and the Stantons and all sorts of things. Esslinger, of course, the BB7s. Yeah. So some great engines in speed cars for these days.
Yes, it makes me remember when AJ Foot criticised the Indy 500 people when they started to have smaller motors. But they're going around the racetrack now faster than they were when those thundering big V8s, heavy V8s like an Alfenhauser, Chevs and Fords. True. And the lightweight motors are going faster. Engineering.
Indeed. Let's have another look now at Nick Rowe, of course. Look at him there in the number 3 Toyota powered car and some of the victories. On top left-hand side of the screen is his 14-lap Neville Lance twin feature race. He beat Tom Payette-Home in that one. So, yes, he's had a good season, and I'm tipping that he won't be out of this event on the weekend. He'll be up there on the podium. As you say, should his engine keep on going for him, and if it does, it's a really, really quick car, and he's driving it well.
And the good thing about his move from Carnarvon, where he was working, to Dongra, he's got a very responsible job there, and so he's closer to Perth. He get down in about 4.5 hours now, whereas before it was probably 8-9 hours to get there and back. So he's a lot happier camper at the moment. So I reckon he'll come down here on the Thursday, or probably the Wednesday, do some practice Thursday, and then be ready for Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, I mean, not Sunday, but Saturday. Sunday he'll drive home.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
Saturday night is Speedway night. Jolly Good In-Car Audio presents the WA Sprintcar Title and John Day Classic State Sprintcar Championship right on the line. Saturday night, the Motorplex turns orange to salute the General. The Jolly Good In-Car Audio WA Sprintcar Title. Grab your tickets, motorplex.com.au. You'll be there.
At Maddington Toyota, we're all about great deals, value, quality and service. Head to our website for quality new, demo and pre-owned vehicles with videos so you can find your perfect car. We can organise the details by phone and email and deliver the car right to you. Check out the entire Toyota range, plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all backed by our real commitment to great service. Maddington Toyota, great deals and great service. Oh, what a feeling.
Well, welcome back, Con. Thanks to Maddington Toyota there. Con, we've had some terrific meetings over the season so far. We're looking forward to December the 6th when we've got the John Day Classic and the WA Speedcar Championship. But coming up, High Limit International. How good is that going to be just after Christmas? And there's a list, Con, of the drivers so far that have committed. I understand that's probably the total list, and I'm talking about American drivers here. But as you can see, that's as good as you get anywhere in the world, isn't it?
Well, I think it's probably one of the best fields we've ever seen come to West Australia in our whole history, that's including Claremont. And it's a brilliant field, and all those guys that are coming here to Perth are winners in their own right. Larson is probably the pick of the bunch because he's not only an IndyCar driver, a NASCAR champion, but he's also a champion sprint car driver. But all the rest of these guys, they can drive speed cars as well as sprint cars, and they all do it very, very well.
As you can see there, Carson Macedo, Cole Macedo, we've seen Cole here last season. We haven't seen Carson for a few years now in Australia because the Dyson Motorsport team packed it in, so we didn't see him here last season. He was due to come, wasn't he? But he had a bit of a foot injury or something or other, so that was a real shame. But Aaron Rutzel, Justin Whittle was here last year, Brock Zierfoss here last year, Buddy Coyford, a big crash. So
yes, a big USAC crash in California over the last weekend, and he is a very, very lucky young man to come away virtually uninjured because that was an absolute bone cruncher.
Boy.
And Brock Zierfoss, you see that, Graham, he would have to have no excuse this time because he knows what young Newton's done in that 77 car, twice to the back of the bus. and he finished fourth in our 40-lap race. So that car is an absolute jet, and I think we're going to see Brock come into a car that's very well sorted out for him.
Well, I mean, there are no excuses for Americans, are they? They're all top drivers. They're all winning feature races over there. This field here that we've got, as I say, that's probably as good as you get anywhere in the world and in America.
Oh, sure. And see, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you haven't got all your ducks in a row on the one night, it's $110,000 to win. So, you can imagine what those drivers will be going through. And it's like Larson's coming over here on a high, but there's no guarantee that he's going to win the race. So it doesn't matter how good he is. I know they've got a brand new car for him this year. I'm not too sure about the motor, but I should suggest to say that the motor will be there.
It'll be sharp.
So he's coming over once because he enjoys being in West Australia, but he's also coming on a racing holiday, as they say.
Well, have a look at this, Con. Warning, the medical experts have warned those persons with heart conditions to stay at home when USA's Kyle Larson returns to Perth to win the $110,000 first prize purse and defend his high-limit crown. International Series crown, Perth Motorplex on December the 28th, 29th and 30th. It'll be a lung buster, and this guy really turned it on last year, didn't he? And he did excite people, and I tell you what, my heart was fluttering and murmuring just watching him negotiate the track and negotiate some of our own local West Australians. Callum Williamson in particular was really, really good on the high limit series, as was James McFadden on the first two opening nights of the series.
Yeah, well, it's so good that, you and I are going to be camping down at the track for the time, and I believe that the numbers are close to 80 that are booked in there. So if you are wanting to get down to the Motorplex to stay there, if you've got a camper van or what have you got, a tent, whatever you've got, give the Motorplex a ring in business hours and book yourself a little spot, because you won't be sorry.
Now, look, Con, let's just cut back to these international drivers.
Look like rock stars.
Yes. Kyle Larson there, we've already spoken about him. Brad Sweet, what a champion he is. And whilst he's retiring from full-time driving, he'll still cherry-pick and do some important events, and he's considered the Perth Motorplex to be an important event. And then we move on then to, let's have a look at some more here. We'll go back to that.
Yeah, young Buddy.
So we got Buddy and Carson Macedo, as we said. He should have appeared last year with us, but couldn't because of injuries. But really looking forward
and he's been here before, so he knows the Motorplex. He's driven a speed car and a sprint car at the Motorplex, so he's no stranger to this wide open space of the Perth Motorplex.
No, but Con, I'm tipping he'll get a real shock when he sees the level of Western Australians nowadays, the quality of our cars, the quality of the transporters, and the improvement the drivers have made.
Yes.
And I think Dayne Kingshott going over there and running on a track other
Foreign
than the
tracks,
Motorplex, that's just showing that the West Australians had lifted the bar.
Yeah, very versatile, and not only that, it just shows that our guys can go to any size track and be more than competitive. And that's the very thing that we've always wanted for years, because there was a rumours in the old days that Claremont Speedway was only virtually West Australians. They had no thing. Well, John Fenton proved that he could win Australian titles away from home. So did Keith Mann, Jeff Pilgrim, and Noel Bradford. So we have slowly been chipping away at getting a stronger reputation. And today, with the fields we've got and the competition that we've got, we're breeding real speedway champions.
There's a picture from last year's High Limit Series. You can see Brad Sweet and a few of the East Coast boys there, but look at the crowds in the background as well. Con, the place was packed out when the High Limits hit town, and we're expecting no less this year round. And
also, Graham, we'll be welcoming back Rico Abreu. He's not going to go out fishing and partying before the event, because he's a serious. He's coming over as a national high limits champion of America. He's a brilliant driver. He's just secured a full-time drive with Tony Stewart for 2026. So his stakes and his confidence must be well and truly up through the ceiling, and I'm sure he's going to be coming over to do some pretty serious business.
Well, I've seen a bit of footage from the camp over there from Rico, and he's fully committed to this series, and of course he wants to show us what he's made of, just winning the high limit American series. So There won't be any fooling around this year, and I'm tipping that he's going to be the winner in actual fact. He's so good at the moment. He's just so much in form.
What I like about him, he's a thinking driver. I know it may sound stupid, but he really knows his business about what he has to do and what he doesn't have to do. He knows when there's a time to take the high line and the low line. He's just an all-round package driver. And then, I mean, James McFadden will be back in Perth for that as well. Larson, as I said, and every one of those other 9 Americans that are coming here, they all think they're going to win it because they don't even want to know what second place plays because they say running second is the first of the losers.
Yes. And of course, Con, we haven't even mentioned any East Coasters yet that will be making the trip across to compete in the High Limit International Series here at the Perth Motorplex, but throw a couple of them in as well.
I believe Jock Goodyear's coming. He's definitely coming. I haven't heard of anyone else, but no doubt that'll be released to us in time for a show within a couple of weeks. I'm confident it will because it's drawing very close to the time.
Well, yes, indeed. I mean, nominations are still wide open, and those people will make their decisions on what they do because all around Australia there's such good prize money these days they can almost cherry pick where they want to drive. And of course, some of the East Coasters up and down the East Coast is much easier to do than to make the trek across the Nullarbor to race here. So,
well, the one thing we've got in our favour in West Australia is that our weather is a lot more reliable. So saying that, I hope I don't put a mocker on this, but generally our weather's a lot more predictable. So with that being said, the track is a ripper track and the spectator facilities are out world class. So the experience of coming to the Perth is a little bit like going to the Optus Stadium for football and cricket. The internationals have been raving about it this last weekend, and everyone that comes to Perth, they can't believe how good the facility is.
No question. Well, Kyle Larson has said openly and unsolicited that he believes it's one of the top venues in the world, if not the best.
Yes.
Con, let's just move on now. Don't forget our 2 radio shows, one on Wednesday, 91.3 Sport FM at 1 o'clock, and then on Friday at 2 p.m, The Spirit of Speedway on SEN 621 in Bunbury. And our thanks to, firstly, Maddington Toyota on the 91.3 Let's Talk Speedway. And then on the Friday show, The Spirit of Speedway, we thank Pittard Motors and Hydrolink, and of course Boyne Upsellers.
Correct. And it's also worth noting once again that in addition to doing the complete south-west of Western Australia, we're now up into the Kalgoorlie region, so our numbers have grown, and all the areas that we're going to is where Speedway is very strong, so we've really got some tremendous coverage, unlike a lot of places in the world wouldn't get the coverage that we've got. We've probably got the biggest area in the world, if you want to be totally. I'm not skiting about that, but you need to look at the size of West Australia. I think in the southwest of Western Australia, you can fit England in it about 10 times. So we've got a big coverage.
Well, Con, I'm really looking forward to December the 6th. I hate looking forward too much because you're skipping over valuable time that you've got. But December the 6th, what a show. Speedcar, Sprintcar Championship and late models all on the one program. JOHN Day Classic is always a beauty and throws up plenty of twists and turns. There's some good drivers coming for that, including Caden Brown will be back for it. So will Harry Stewart. So they're 2 good drivers. The Travis one that you've just mentioned, that's going to be a beauty on its own.
And I say, bring someone to hold on to.
So there we are, Con. The end of another show. They can ram pretty quick, but we've covered a fair bit of ground, albeit quickly. And our congratulations again to Cricky Motorsport, Dayne Kingshott, to Bunbury Toyota for their victory on the weekend amongst some of the best competition in Australia.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased for the Bunbury team and Western Australia because we've been for a long time, as I said, looking for this type of result, and it's coming our way in spades.
Yes, indeed. Well, you've been watching Talking About Speedway. Thanks for your company, and we'll do it all again next week. Bye for now.
Let's go racing off at turn number 4. We are green.
We welcome you to the Perth Motorplex here on 7.
It's time to double down. It's time to raise the stakes. And it is time to go all in with High Limit Racing.
Kyle Larson is $100,000 sprinter and wins the High Limits International Sprint Cars here at the Perth Motorplex.
Probably one of the top 3 best facilities, best racetracks. It might even be the best.